everyone, and thank you for joining me for this webinar. The webinar title Photo Stitching using Autodesk ReCap Pro. Okay, so it's a very good software to use, very intuitive, very easy. If you haven't heard of it before, you will see. I will give a quick introduction on what it is about. Just to intro myself, my name is Shoaib Yunus. I am the BIM specialist for mining and civil infrastructure for Baker Baines. And like I said, today's session is going to be a very light session. So first of all, happy 2019 to everyone. I hope this is going to be a positive year for us all, and we achieve all our goals and ambitions in this year, be it work related, be it personal. So let's get off this year in a good start and hit the floor running. So I know January is a bit of a drag month, especially here in South Africa, or actually throughout the world in general. So I thought I'll keep it light with something that's really cool and also really easy to grasp, okay? So we're gonna be looking at ReCap Photo, and we're gonna stitch a very simple procedure, simple model together, and you will see how easy and the ease of use possessed by this software. So again, here's our agenda. So we're gonna look at Autodesk ReCap. What exactly is it? I'm sure you have heard of it, but some people who have or are new to industry or it's the first time hearing about it, I'm just going to give a quick, simple introduction on what it is, so you'll have an idea. And then in terms of the workflow, how you would apply it, so how you would incorporate it into a system that will work. And then of course we're going to have a live deep dive, so a recap photo demonstration, and then we're going to call it quits with a conclusive summary. So very light, very easy, and I hope you would enjoy the session. So let's go on to the next slide. Autodesk ReCap. What is it? So of course, with the advent of drones and 3D technology and point clouds and scanning, Autodesk ReCap has been in the center of it all. And in terms of construction, it's the hottest topic, trending from 2018 onwards. So it helps you, or Autodesk ReCap helps you to import, process, and model point clouds and photogrammetry. The main thing is here that a lot of people have heard that you can use ReCap to process point clouds, model it effectively, and then take it into your authoring tools. But a lot of people also do not know that it has a photo part of it. So you can do a photo stitch model. So I thought it would be really cool to show on that. And we will build on this topic as the year goes along. Okay, so you can use it for photos, especially for aerial or drone imagery. So if you have a good drone there, maybe a Falcon or something like that with a good range, high def camera, we can have a lot of different angles taken of a maybe a structure or something like that, stitch it together, and you could have a great model from there. So the great thing with ReCap, it is very compatible with a variety of 3D scanners. So whatever you are using, it more or less integrates with that file format, okay? And it has been used with all your famous scanners such as Top Corner and so on like that. Okay, so you can use it across the board. And the main purpose of it is it's a dedicated tool for your point clouds, for your photogrammetry. And in terms of point clouds, it helps you to filter your scans, index them, and of course, it gives you the option to automatic or manually register scans. Okay, so if you don't know what's automatic and manual registration, at the end of the actual presentation or this webinar, there will be the contacts and as well as the YouTube channel that we currently have. You could have a look at my previous video on Autodesk ReCap, and you could actually see the difference between automatic and manual scan registration. And maybe I would cover it again this year due to a popular request to find out exactly what's the difference between the two. Okay. Another cool thing is it has a real view functionality. So if you do a 3D point cloud and the reference points or the positioning of your scan prior to stitching it together, the software picks up the geolocation of the position of the scans. So if you take like 9 or 10 scans of a building, each position that you take from a different angle, it will actually create a real view at that point, which is quite cool. It looks like exactly what you were seeing on that day. So very cool software, and also a very cool reference to use. And of course, it's compatible with your majoring authoring tools. So AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit, Inventor. You process it in ReCap, get it stitched or get it cleaned up, And then from there, you can import it to these authoring tools, these detail authoring tools, and you can do detailed changes and analysis to that. And of course, it's simple, easy to use, and that's what I'm going to show you in this webinar. Okay, in terms of the workflow, so it's literally 3 steps. So you can capture, so you can use your method of capturing, it's your UAVs, or you can use your drones, or you can use your, of course, your great 3D scanning tools, your scanners like the GLS 2000 or something like that. And then from there, take that software, compute it using the Autodesk ReCap tool or software. As you can see, it's compatible with PC and tablet. And then from there, take it into your authoring tools, so Revit, Civil 3D, InfraWorks, Inventor, whichever one you use. And we can actually do a workflow integration from there. So like I said, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, literally for this webinar, okay? And we're gonna get into that right now. Okay, so now for the fun part. So I gave you a quick intro. I showed you the workflow. Like I said, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And today we're gonna focus primarily or only on the photo part of ReCap, Autodesk ReCap. Okay, so let me just switch my window here very quickly. Just give me a second. All right, so this is how the Autodesk ReCap Photo interface looks. So again, when you install Autodesk ReCap Pro, you will see that there will be 2 shortcuts on your desktop. One will be for the main dedicated platform, that being for your point clouds and stuff like that, which will be called Autodesk ReCap. And you will see there will be a separate shortcut for Autodesk ReCap Photo. Okay, and when you open up or double click that shortcut, you will come to this menu, and you will see it'll throw up a welcome menu. So as you can see here, you can see it gives you also a brief overview of the navigation controls for the mouse. Very simple, very easy. And of course, if you don't want to see this every time, toggle that off or tick that in, and then it wouldn't pop up all the time. Okay, so I'm going to close that. And then of course, this is as simple as the software is. These are all the buttons that you will get. Okay, in terms of 3D, you've got 2 options, so either scanner or aerial. So the one that I've got today is an aerial scan, and I'm going to take this and click on this button. And once I do that, it's going to actually tell you to click anywhere or to go and retrieve where you saved your photo files. So I've navigated to my file path here on the top, and then these are all the photos that I have taken. Okay, you do need a minimum, I think, of 20 photos to get a basic scan, of course, and it goes up to about 250 photos. So that's quite comprehensive. If you have about, I would say, 200 photos, if you're doing a large scale building or project, you will get a really, really good model, right? It will overlap perfectly. It'll get stitched very good. The geolocation should be on. And you will see, once I select all of these photos, so let's go and select this photo. So I did a scan of a quick, the example we're using here is of a gym. Okay, if I click open, I've chosen the gym. Fun fact, because I know a lot of people in January, that's the resolution. So if you haven't been to the gym yet, like myself, you can see it right here. Okay, so we're gonna click open. Okay, and you can see it tells you here, some photos do not have GPS data. So that means it will not be included. So make sure when you're doing it, the geolocation on your drone or on your phone or whatever you're using, that tag is switched on, because then it cannot position it without that data. So it will skip those output with the not geolocated. And then once we're happy, we can actually go and delete certain photos if we don't want to, or we can add more if we'd like. But you can see it gives you the number of photos that you've selected. And then of course, you got ground control points that you can access, as well as you can add photos, like I said. So once we have that on the top, of course, this is a cloud application or a cloud service. So it will require you to get Autodesk cloud credits. If you don't know what that is, you can drop me an email at the end of this webcast or webinar, or you can simply just Google it and it will explain exactly what cloud credits are. Cloud computing is the future if you're looking at any major design software, and it is the way to go, as it doesn't take a heavy hit on your PCs, okay? And then all you got to do is click create, and it will actually upload this to the cloud for processing. So I've already processed it, because just to save us time on this webinar, It will normally take, depending on the amount of photos. So this one took me at about 12 minutes to process. Very quick, okay? And you can see it's 76 photos. And once that is processed, you can actually navigate to your cloud account on the web. So I'm just going to close this and I'm going to go to the rendered product. So you can see, you will see here that it'll tell you that it's ready on your cloud. Okay, so it's telling me, okay, cool, your scan is ready. Do you want to download it? Do you want to delete it? So X for delete, downward arrow for download, simple as that. And then if you want to look at in terms of the how it looks on your application or your cloud interface, we're going to go to Google very quickly. Okay, and then you can see it gives you all your projects that have been processed here. All right, you can see preparing visualization. It'll give you a visualization from there, and then from here you can actually click it and view it on the online web or the online viewer for ReCap, and you can also share from here depending on what you'd like. So as you can see, for example, we can share, publish A360 folder. That is your drive that comes equipped for sharing, and of course you can download or delete. So let's switch back to the actual ReCap Photo application. Okay, so here we are. So what I did was it synced it. You can resync your cloud drive to see if there's any new projects that you have done. Get it, download it, and then from there you can see it's showing on my computer. Again, if you have other models that have been captured or shared with you, you can load them from here. So let's go and click on my model, right? And let's have a zoom in here. And as you can see, it has stitched in these photos. Pretty cool, really nice. And again, this was a very quick model, so we didn't actually adhere to that overlapping or making sure that we take a lot of photos from different angles. This was just 70, and you can see the primary focus was the gym, so we try to focus on the gym mostly. And as you can see, it is very clear. You can even see it picked up the signage. You can see the bricks. Really cool scan, and of course you can move around and check it as you'd like. Okay, so this is a very good tool, very cool tool if you want to look fancy as well. And its ease of use is amazing. You don't have to have prior drafting experience to use this tool. Of course, you do have to know in terms of the software what you're doing or what you want to achieve. That's your objective, and that I cannot help you with. But again, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Right? So once we've got this, we can actually go to our dashboard. So you've got something built in. That's your dashboard that you currently had, where you have everything, and then your editor will have your software open as it is. If you want to go to settings, model settings, you can actually go and transform your model using different ways. Okay, so you can actually, for example, you can create a cut plane. So if you look here, right, if I move this, for example, it'll update in terms of the reference, and then I can actually use a grid tool, grid decimation tool, as you'd like, and you can actually apply different things. You can rotate it, you can pick a surface. So if you want to do it relative to a surface, you can see it actually tilted my model. Again, it'll take you a little bit of time to get used to the software in terms of the referencing of it, but it's very simple in terms of the functionality. So if you want to happy with what you'd like, you can click apply. If not, you can just reset it, okay, to original, and you can close it. Okay. Right. So you can see in terms of all of these things here, it's quite easy. I can see some questions coming through. I will answer them towards the end of the session. And yeah, in terms of ease, it's quite easy and very visual in terms of representation. And then of course you can set scales and units. You can do your measurements in terms of that if you'd like. You can scale it, you can enter a value and stuff like that. Okay. I'm going to show you a very cool thing in terms of what I really like about this is the slice and fill. Okay, so I can actually cut it up in terms of my referencing. So if I drive my mouse down, it'll increase. If I drive it up, you can see it decreases. You can select if you want to transform the plane, if you want to use no fill, those type of things. And then of course, if you're happy, you can apply. Then in terms of decimate mesh, I think this is very useful in terms of the actual shape. So if you want to get an actual shape, click this. You can see the triangulation actually gets decimated, and you can actually extract this and save this for Civil 3D and stuff like that. Okay, and then of course you can see the target's face count is quite comprehensive, 4 million, over 4 million, right? And of course the percentage, if you want to put in the best geometry, it will actually decimate it. You click it and then it will decimate the mesh for you. Okay, and then of course you can analyze and fix model issues. You can measure. If you want a mesh report, it'll give you a number of vertices, those type of things on there, and of course your volume and surface area. Very useful sometimes for your developments and stuff like that. In terms of measuring, it's as simple as clicking from one point to another, and you see the measuring updates accordingly. In terms of that, you can set the units here, of course, millimeters, meters, whatever you'd like, and it's as simple as clicking as 1, 2. In terms of the two models, if you had two models where you took a scan, this is very, very applicable when you're taking progress models. So every week, maybe you took a photogrammetry of the building. You can actually compare that it was at this level on maybe last week, and then this week you can see that the walls have been generated maybe a meter higher, and it'll actually give you or compare the two models, highlight that for you, and see how it is. Okay, so it's a good very, very effective managing tool as well if you're looking at it from a construction perspective. And then of course you can export images, you can take videos, and you can take even export this model. If you click export, again you can see you have different types of formats. Those that are using design tools like I am, you will be very familiar with these formats. The most common one being the OBJ format. STL you can use if you are in the manufacturing space. FBX also very common, and then PTS is another scan format, right? So you can choose whatever you'd like. Okay, export it, choose your coordinate system if you want, which I would recommend definitely. And then of course your size, you can actually customize it from here. And in terms of generate map, I would either use it on diffuse or normal. Okay, and export, save it to your desktop, and you have that. If you want to use a quick export, again, there are different types of formatting. This is quite more user-friendly for those that are getting into the software for the first time, and you've got dedicated authoring tools. You can actually send this into your software or choose, okay, if I'm using AutoCAD or Civil 3D, I can bring in FBX, OBJ, and FBX and stuff like that. You can even import into 3ds Max, Maya, so forth. So you can actually see which software you're using or what's compatible with you, select it here, and then of course have a quick export. Again, the higher the quality, the bigger the file. But of course, I would suggest going to as high quality as you'd like, export it, and then you will have access to that file. Okay, so again, very, very easy. I'm gonna end off showing you in terms of presentations, how you would normally create something that's very, very simple. Okay, again, you can extrude, you can surface, you've got a lot of different tools here that you can use. If you think of it as like using paint, but it's done for infrastructure. Okay, so if you aren't that creative, or you not have problems actually creating a video and stuff like that, you could do it in a way that you could either export the current images at the different angles. So you can take a snapshot there, you can do a snapshot from this angle, you can do a closer snapshot, then you can maybe take one from this angle here, and so forth. And then you can send it to the person or the client that you are presenting it to. Alternatively, there's an easier way, okay? So that can be cool for maybe inputting into a report. But when you're looking at exporting a video, I would actually use the one that's called keyframes. Okay, it's also, if you have tuned into my InfraWorks webinars previously, keyframes actually make it quite easy, and it's also the same method that's used in the ReCap point cloud processing. Okay, very easy way to use. If you look at the current video that it has, if you click preview, it just orbits more or less on in terms of how the model is being used in an angle. Of course, you can go and adjust this. The easiest one will be to use keyframes. So I'm going to give you an example here very quickly. Okay, so you can see the keyframe is currently set to 0. Okay, so I want to take a snapshot maybe here. So I'm going to mark that point. I'm going to go here, mark another one, so keyframe 2. And then let's maybe take one about here, okay, keyframe 3. So just a simple one. And then you can see the file format. You can use AVI or MKV. MKV is, I would say, much more higher quality, but you've got 1080, so I'm gonna just do a 720, right? Just so it takes a little less time to process. And we can export it. So let's export it. Okay, here we are, Gym 720, save it to the desktop. Okay, and then it's exporting my model at the moment. So it'll take, like I said, the higher quality you set, it'll take a little less time, but it's a few minutes. Honestly, it's not something that you'll have to use. And here we are. You see, it's done already, export complete. So quite quick. It's not like before you had to leave it and dedicate yourself to something else. All right. So let's go to the actual desktop and let's see how this video looks. So I'm just going to minimize this very quickly. And then we're going to switch to the actual desktop. All right, so I'm just navigating to that quickly. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, so now that you have your file found and you're happy with what you see here, I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so let's navigate to that and then let's see how it looks as a quick representation. So I've got it open here. Let's just find the correct window. Okay, I'm just going to minimize this a little bit. Okay, now the screen has synced. So if you're looking at my screen at the moment, you should see that the gym is still currently showing on your screen. And then once I click play, you should see that it gives you a quick representation of exactly what we've done. Again, you can also go and, in terms of the speed of the actual presentation, slow that down a bit. Okay. All right, so let's just show that again. I see it didn't sync properly. So here we are, there's the video. I click play. Okay, and now you can see that it's actually syncing very quickly, right? So again, let me just play that. So here we are, click play, and then it will hover depending on what type of keyframe you are using. Okay. All right, so that's how you would actually present your designs in Autodesk ReCap Photo. Then let me get back to the slide deck. Okay, so we're just going to conclude on that very quickly. So as you saw, it's easy as literally 1, 2, 3. Okay, you take the software or you take your drone, you take your machine, you do your photos, make sure they're geolocated, import them or copy them to your PC. Thereafter, select all the photos that you need, and then from there, it will process it in the cloud. Once it gets processed, it will take it in, it will tell you, hey, okay, your job is done. Do you want to download it? Do you want to access it in the cloud? And then I would recommend downloading it, and then of course processing it with ReCap, extracting a mesh, and then importing it into your software. And of course, you can share that model with fellow colleagues and stuff simply using the Autodesk ReCap online facility. Again, that was covered in my previous ReCap webinar. I will give you the details of our website where you can go and check that out. So as you can see, it's very minimal, easy as 1, 2, 3. And of course, it is the hot topic of the industry. So I'm just going to check, are there any questions or anything you would like to add? Okay, so I have got one that's been testing recap photos on a phone. Okay, so if you are using your phone, I would say the geolocation must be on. So when you go to your settings, there is an option that tells you, hey, um, this is what you would need to do. Do you like to put on it's called a GPS tag on your phone? So just find out exactly where that is, and then you can take it from there. Okay. So the main thing is it has to be tagged. Okay. Once you set that on, give it a shot. Again, take a minimal of 20 photos, import it, and then you should see that it will stitch in successfully. If you're still having a problem with that, drop me an email and then we can chat. Okay. Okay, so I don't see that there's any other questions available at the moment. Well, I know it's hard to think of questions on the spot, and this is why I'm actually going to give you all my details here. So thank you very much for joining us for the first webinar of 2019. Like I said, I kept it light, very easy, very cool, something that's not full of lines, but rather you saw a 3D model. Okay, these are all our contact details. So we've got a Baker Bains, we've got dedicated social platforms, and we are very active on them. So please give us a follow. And of course, myself, Shoaib Yunus, you can follow me on LinkedIn. This is where I post a lot of free content in terms of when we're having our next webinars, any cool facts that I found out and stuff like that. And I also recommend that you do also share anything cool that you come across in industry there. So it's a good place to reach me. So if you want to drop me a message or just say hi, feel free to. And of course, my email address, shoaib@bakerbains.com. If you want us to cover any topics that are giving you more or less a pain or something you want us to share with you, maybe it's giving a lot of problems, drop me an email and we could actually set that up for future webinars because we like hearing from you professionals in the industry on what's going down. Okay, so again, thank you very much for joining us for this. We do have webinars in different type of industries. So I cover civil infrastructure, mining, GIS, drafting, that type of thing. We do have professionals in architecture, manufacturing, product design, process plant. So we do have webinars in different industries for different tastes, different professionals. So do keep an eye open for that. And yeah, I'm going to conclude with that. So thank you very much again. Have an awesome Friday and catch you again for the next webinar that we have in the future. So have a good day and yeah, enjoy your weekend. Thank you.